Okay. So I'm not sure if this actually is going to count towards my portfolio that I actually outlined in the fall. Um, and if it does, you can let me know. If not, I will modify it into what I'm doing. I think they do dovetail very nicely. So what I want to share with you is that there didn't seem to be, after spending time and me sharing with you over the summer, the things that I was doing, and the payoff, the time put in, and the payoff that was gotten out of it did not balance. I did use it a couple of times. I could share with you the video that I did as far as a recording of this our climate, our future, with making a video and then adding things into it when I was trying to give that to Cyber, since it's so difficult to do videos whenever they can't hear you, to record the video and then have that interaction. So that was one of those things. Like I said, I could share that with you if you would like. But also, there were three basic things that would happen. Most of the assignments that I would create, they were for the Cyber students, all right? And then they would be kind of a supplement if the classroom students needed extra. So I would develop these creative assignments, and the kids would tell me that it was too confusing. Your class is too hard. This doesn't make any sense. When I would painstakingly record videos that would show them exactly what to click and exactly where to go, and repeatedly telling the online students that do not go to the assignment list, do not go to the to-do list. And I think inevitably that's what they would do, is simply go to the to-do list and then have no idea what they were supposed to do because they never watched the tutorials. So that was very, very frustrating. Another thing that was the problem is that I will have spent hours developing online activities, and maybe not hours, but a lot of time, and have these neat activities, and to go back to school and then not have Chromebooks in the classroom. So that was a huge challenge. So it would have been better had we just remained online, because then the students, the classroom students, could have completed the activity. So there's me then trying to switch it and scramble and come up with a plan B. Now this whole time, remember, developing the 2 new units, and they're going well, and I'll show you why. So those are 2 problems. The third problem, which actually did bring me to tears, not the nervous breakdown that was last March, but just the frustration of having the feeling that I got it. I know what I'm doing. This is going to be awesome. This is touching all of the bases of my portfolio. And this was the project. We were finishing up clean resources, alternative and innovative clean renewable. So this is what we were doing. And I developed it on Wakelet, because then you just scroll through and it tells the students exactly what they're supposed to do first. And then there was a rubric that they had as far as what they were going to be doing, researching all of these things, showing them how to create a Wakelet account. Okay. And then, using Padlet. And then part 1, all of these things, finding the research, like I'm saying, and these would be things that I would record and walk them through and talk to them. And then researching all the information is found on this Google Doc right here. So this was the outline, okay, of what they were supposed to be doing. Now this is this actually was someone else's, and I did change this. I didn't link their actual doc, but it is in Canvas, so this wasn't part of it. So, but this was what was so cool, Mike, so cool. I was so excited about this. It's something called Google My Map, okay? And this was the problem with me not knowing, okay? So whenever we go to Google Apps on us, Google Drive, right here when we create new, all right, we have when we create new, we have a choice to do more. Why that's not dropping down the way it should, I don't understand. Okay, whatever reason is happening is that whenever we click new, we get, and there it is. Okay, so we have these. I did not know that students did not have access to these things. All right, that was something that I didn't know. So I developed these, this activity, and this was one of the things that they were going to be doing, was going to Google My Map. And in this, what they were going to do is, how we have Google Maps, they were able to create their own pin. So instead of like, so here we go, Penn State. So this would be, so we're looking at where were places that we could find the largest windmill farms. And you simply click on the area. Oh, for Pete's sake, Apple computers are a pain. Okay, you click on the area and they put a pin or a flag. And when they do that, they can add an icon that represents it. They then would add the information that they were told to. They were getting tutorials on all of this. And this was something that was going to be awesome so that they could share a visual. They could see on the US, they could see globally where these things were and actually see what they looked like. Well, I come to find out that the kids did not have access to Google My Maps. The kids did not have access to Wakelet. And with everything that's going on with the tech department, it took them forever to, one, give them access to Wakelet, and two, I never heard back from them as far as Google My Maps. So hands tied, you know, the whole thing of engage, and be creative. So in doing those things, wasted time. So there is that. But then to show you the things that I do use and have used that have been beneficial, that have really enhanced my ability to develop these units, is finding my, let's look at my groups. So we're just looking at Facebook. Facebook has been invaluable, priceless. The groups that I am a part of: Forensic Science Teacher Tribe, National Biology Teachers, National Environmental Science Teachers. So all of these things pop up on my Facebook page. I have gotten rid of almost everyone in Facebook because the only thing that I want is this educational information that comes through to me. Buying sustainable seafood. All of these things. Someone asks a question around the globe. They ask a question and then people input sources. From this, there's actually, I have an entire folder for, let me show you, that they have downloaded and are constantly uploading to this Forensic Science Group Shared Resources. All of these things are accessible to me. So all of these things for the forensic science unit that I'm developing. And going back to Facebook and all of my saved, I can then take any of those things and save them into a specific folder. Once I go into that folder, then I go back to my Wakelet that I have that organizes things. And this is how I have it organized. So actual forensic unit design, and then the alternative innovative. This is what, as far as with the Bio 2, looking at the COVID virus's immune response and organizing, since there's so much, trying to put it all together. Sorry. So I'll have a Wakelet folder it's like a dump folder. And then as I go through and try to develop the unit, I will then put things specifically. So creating the PowerPoint, I have a PowerPoint that I will add to this, so I'll have it for next year. Different videos that supplement and enhance the presentation. So yeah, this is one of those things as far as getting from the group on Facebook that someone had developed an entire COVID lesson plan. And these are all of the links that I could go to utilize. So instead of creating my own wheel, I get to actually take advantage of other people's wheels. Something else is being a member of, or constantly getting updates of, Knowable Magazine. It comes into my email, and this is something that I just got today, as far as, and I'm lecturing to the kids about COVID and viruses, and specifically its replication and how it affects the cells. And this popped up today, and it is the challenges of antiviral treatments for COVID. And we've already talked about antivirals in class. So this is something, being able to share with them where exactly do those antivirals work in the cell cycle of a virus. And then tomorrow, I am going to look more into those and see what is the challenge of those. I mean, between today and tomorrow. So I guess what I am doing does really fit. So I don't think that I need to reinvent my portfolio, because even though I'm not using all of these things that everyone else is using that I hear, as far as Pear Deck and Flipgrid and all of those things, just didn't seem to fit into what it is that I was doing or what my intentions were. Simply developing the new units with the principles of science and getting them hands-on and getting them in the know of things that are out of the textbook and what's actually happening globally. Those were things that I have developed in this Wakelet for climate change. So we're looking at this, and I'll tell you, it is so difficult to narrow it down. Videos, and then being able to make worksheets and have class discussions based on those videos. This Our Climate, Our Future was huge. There's animations, and it really pulls it down to have them learn about what's actually happening. Talking about Greta Thunberg's, what she's done as an activist and how they can become activists. Looking again, we're using graphing, looking at our carbon footprint, looking at some solutions that there are out there. There was something, there's so many things that I didn't even get into. Anyway, there was then after that, as far as sharing with them, so here's the world coming to an end. And then looking at, and I did not get into this, but I am going to get into this in the spring. I told them we're going back to this. Not sure where it went. Okay. This is something that is very important to me, and something that we are going to be looking into, like I said, in the spring, is small plot gardening and sustainability. So we want to look at them reducing their carbon footprint and being able to make grow their own food and process their own food. So that is something that I really, obviously, that I'm passionate about. So looking at those things, what I'm doing, taking from professional journals, taking from professional sites as far as Facebook, and interacting, I guess I should say, like with other professionals globally connected to those things. I feel very blessed to have that. So the negatives, is, again, the frustration of thinking you know what you're doing. This is what's always supposed to happen. And then it doesn't happen. So then in my head, I'm like, is it because I'm not doing it right? Or because it's just not working? Not knowing that things you assume are available to the students are not available to the students. Should I have asked ahead of time? Did the kids have access to Google My Maps? Probably. But why would I? Where would I have gone to look for that? See, these are just the challenges that we have for this online stuff, and the not knowing, and then having to adapt and apologize. I apologize to the students, and I'm constantly, especially the cyber kids, whenever the cyber kids are like, I'm so confused, and constantly trying to interact with them, recording. I recorded so many things, guys. This is what's happening, and them not taking advantage of those recording tutorials and that one-on-one with me really was just made it for not a very successful. Also, the fact that not many kids engaged in it to begin with. So, all right, so that's where I am right now, and that's probably how things are going to go from now till the end of the year. Hopefully, we will have less cyber. But I feel that if we do, I'll be okay. Forensics is so cool, and it's really lending itself very easily to being online. So that's something, and absolutely having that forensics Facebook group and everybody modifying, asking questions. How can I do this? We're 100% online, and how can I modify this to make this activity online? So that's where I am, having recorded things for the Bio 2 is kind of challenging because it's very to have, like today, to lecture and to share videos as far as COVID and understanding the cycle, and to not be able to pause the video and interact with them one-on-one because they can't hear the video as it's playing. So that's that.